All right, this is about the Second World War. I saw a program last night and it was really good. It was about the Second World War, and for me, it was the best program I've ever seen on the Second World War. You rarely see a documentary documenting how the Nazis were in Britain and their effect on in Britain. You rarely see this, yeah. A program that documents this, yeah, it's so prominent in our lives. For instance, everyone's getting benefit cuts. We've just suffered COVID. We suffered ACME demolition that did 9/11 and 7/7. All of this is Nazism, German witchcraft. And even in Germany, they're hated and exiled out of Germany, and now they're in Britain. So we see a program last night really describing Nazism in Britain, and it is amazing. I mean, you never see programs or films about this, and it needs to be done because this is the most prominent part of Nazism is modern day Nazism, right? And it's very bad. They've created obesity. They're in the hospitals, the Nazis, and we have a big problem. They stole the beer companies of Germans, of Germany, of the heterosexual people in Germany, the gay communities, British upper classes, a German witchcraft group stole the beer companies. All the pub landlords are also German Nazis, and they're trying to further their crimes right here, even though they've been exiled out of Germany. In Germany, they're wanted dead. All right, so now in Germany, you have the brilliant AfD group, which leads German politics, and it's led by a woman called Alice, and she's really good, a good, sound woman. She's going to change Germany. Merkel couldn't do that because she was inadequate. She didn't have the tools. But this new German leader is very good. She's going to change Germany forever because it's been hellhole for a long, long time, and led by German gays. The gay communities are German witches that created the Holocaust. They are now in Britain, and this program last night talking about the effects that the Nazis had in Britain. And not the people dying in the field, but actually how the Nazis came here and took over all the hotels, for instance. They took over the councils. All the schools were owned by the Nazis. And you know what? They still are. So it needs to be documented. Why isn't it documented? So when I saw this program last night, it was the first of its kind. And it needs to be more. Certainly, I focused myself on exactly that Nazism in Britain. And this is the very interesting part for listeners, yeah? Is that these Nazis, the genuine Nazis in Germany, are vehemently attacking Hitler. So why are they attacking Hitler, who's supposed to be their leader? Well, actually, the Nazis have killed Hitler's son. Hitler managed to escape the war, and the Nazis know this, right? And he went to Holland and had 12 kids, and one of those kids is a guy called Wim, he's a Dutch guy, and the Nazis know this, and they've attacked him all his life. And he adopted me. All right, so now I've been attacked and they killed my dad. The Nazis killed Hitler, Hitler's son. Right, they also killed a number of people around me because the Nazis hate Hitler. All right, so I repeat, the Nazis hate Hitler. Hitler represented Dutch and the German middle and working classes. The upper classes are German witches. They hate Hitler and the middle and working classes. Right, and then they did the Holocaust, the upper classes. They killed all, and then blamed Hitler for it. Had nothing to do with him. Didn't want to kill Jews. Hitler's son then went on to marry an Israeli woman, and he's not anti-Semitic. He never spoke a word of anti-Semitism in all his life. Right, this is Hitler's son. Right, so now why are Nazis attacking Hitler? Well, because they hate Hitler. Nazis hate Hitler. Nazis did the Holocaust, then blamed their enemy, Hitler. Nazis are South Americans, black and white people. Blacks and whites did the Holocaust, then blamed Hitler. Okay, so now you have this black whiteism going on in America and in Britain and in Europe, and it's very much affecting poor and middle and working class people that are under attack, attacked by the South Americans, that's created by the upper classes. So black whiteism is homosexuality from the upper classes to kill heterosexuality in the middle and working classes. So in England, we had big effects from Germans. The hotels are still owned by the Nazis. All right, that in Britain, that is, and in Germany, and in America, for instance, Beverly Hill hotels are all owned by Germans. Did you ever see that film Beverly Hills Cop? Well, that's actually about this: how the hotels, even Beverly Hills hotels, have been stolen by the enemy of America, German Nazis, that are actually South Americans. South Americans did the Holocaust, then blamed America, white people, had nothing to do with them. It was done by the train services that are still owned by South Americans that stole the train services, put African staff there. Those are the people that created the Holocaust. All right, so nobody is attacking them. German gays are just sick as a bone. Psychologically speaking, they're sick as a bone. They're the sickest criminal out there. They're homosexual paedophiles and child killers in combination. You don't see this anywhere else at all, other than in gay communities. All right, and then the gay bars in England, Soho, London. They are the Nazis. All right, and they're still around. They stolen all the hotels of Hitler. Hitler was the head mason. He was the head architect, head of the Architects Association. I've been to the Architects Association, and they know who I am. I'm Hitler's son, and I'm the head of the Architects Association. They welcome me. They party at this fact because they hate the gay communities that are stolen, the witches that are stolen the hotels and properties in England and America. Beverly Hills hotels, for instance, all stolen by gay witches. It's all referenced in the film there. So these Nazis that are in Britain still running the councils, the pubs, and the hotels, are stolen the hotels off the British King. That's Jumbo and St. John. Right. Well, the Nazis that are still here include they brought in all the Pakistanis that are doing the sex grooming gangs because that's actually a system of homosexual psychopathy, right? Psychopathic gays is what sex grooming is. It's organised by Nazis that brought the Pakistanis here. And then also the African immigrants that are doing the Southport murders. So the Nazis are brutal and they're child killers. And this is what brought rise to Hitler in the 1920s and 30s. Was due to the child killing of the South American group, a cannibal group, into slavery, cannibalism, death, torture, abandonment. That's what voodoo is, and that's what created the Holocaust. And they've stolen hotels off the British King. They're in Britain, and they're destroying the British land and also the Queen's countries, including America. Now, these Nazis that are run by the British upper classes, they are exiled out of Germany because modern day Germany is embarrassed about the Holocaust and they're horrified that they're still in Germany. And so they've exiled them and they're now in France, England, and America, and especially in England where they centralise their attacks. Organised their attacks rather to Europe and America and Russia. So Zelensky is the upper classes and these gay communities that created the Holocaust. That's Zelensky now, and he's attacking the middle class countries. That includes Russia, especially. Also, Sweden's under attack. So Spain, Italy, and France. And also the middle and working classes in Britain under attack by Zelensky. Who is also the gay communities and the Nazis. Zelensky is the Nazis group, right? He is a very dangerous person because he's got all his Nazi army, the African immigrants in France, and they are led by Zelensky, and they're Nazis. And they're attacking Russia right now, but they're also attacking America, Sweden, France, England, Spain, Italy, India, China, the whole world, because Nazis are an African group of homosexuals. African voodooism is homosexuality. There's evidence that Hitler was trying to tell the masses that the Nazis were actually South Americans, and that Hitler is not South American, nor is he a cannibal. Okay, so the Nazis are a cannibal group. Look at what they've done to the Jewish people who support women's rights. Look what the gays have done to them in Mardi Gras in South America. The last thing Hitler said before he died was that the problem, the Nazis, they're in South America. Those were his last words. That your enemy to Germany is in South America. And I don't see any Germans in South America. They're all Africans and blacks, and whites rather. Africans and whites. And they hate Jamaicans. Right? They also hate Jamaicans. So Jamaicans are on the side of the middle and working classes, and also on Hitler's side. The Nazis are trying to kill Hitler. Nobody knows this, but it's a fact. And it's South America are the Nazis. So South America are the Nazis, and they created COVID, AIDS, obesity, breast cancer, a COVID, and bird flu, and more. And the superbug in the hospitals also created by the Doctors Association, the upper classes, British, a German witches group, South American. They hate British nurses and made them created the superbug in a lab, put it out in all hospitals. Now nurses have to wipe the floors and the ceilings once a day, every day, while the doctors do absolutely nothing. Okay, so the German witches are unbearable people. You cannot live with them. They need to be put in the forests. They're so bad, they are. Right, so the German witches, Nazis, they are running Zelensky, and he needs to be stopped, just like the Nazis were exiled out of Germany, and they've now got a great female leader instead. The gays absolutely hate this. Well, they're not in Germany anymore. There's Zelensky. They're also the British farming industry, and they're in America too. And they're attacking the Americans. So the last thing Hitler said was that the Nazis that did the Holocaust were South American, had nothing to do with Hitler or Holland or the white people. And that's correct, because cannibalism is not coming from the white people. Cannibalism comes from South America, and they've done the Holocaust and they're using the trickster, and then blamed the white people in Europe for the Holocaust. Had nothing to do with them at all. And the shocking truth is after doing the Holocaust, then the South Americans then stolen the banks of Hitler. Hitler was the head of Holland. Head of Holland owns all the international banks. So all the high street banks are owned by Hitler and his now adopted son, Max. So ATM machines are at Max, and I'm Max. I'm adopted by my dad, who is Hitler's son. Had nothing to do with the Holocaust. He told everyone the Holocaust was done by South Americans. They are a black whiting system, and then they blamed the white people for the Holocaust, which had nothing to do with Hitler. Hitler then had the banks stolen off him because apparently he did the Holocaust. Well, he didn't, but he had the Dutch banks and all the international banks stolen off him by the South Americans in the Mardi Gras, the gay communities. Not the transsexuals, but the gays there. Right now, the gays are attacking anything to do with women, especially Holland and Hitler. They've stolen the banks at Max's ATM machines. It's at Max, at Holland, and they've stolen the banks of Hitler. The Nazis have stolen the banks of Hitler, and they're making Hitler and Hitler's people homeless and starving and killing us. All right, so the Nazis are the most brutal people in criminal history. All right, and they're still around. And there you go. Nazism is South American, right? Now Hitler had nothing to do with South America. He didn't like South Americans. He thought they were invasive and corrupt, just like most people do, especially the police. All right, so South Americans are the real Nazis, and they're now invading America through the southern border there, and it needs to be stopped by the American military immediately, right? Because these Nazis have also stolen the banks of the middle and working classes, and their leader, Hitler. He was then toppled off by the upper classes, who are the gay communities and Nazis, German witches, and even in Germany, they're hated. Especially right now, there's a new wave of hate coming for them because they don't accept that as part of Germany. Certainly, German witchcraft, homosexuality is not actually German. It's coming from Africa, and their dad is Africans, and they're big homosexuals, homosexual paedophiles. So the Nazis are a very brutal German homosexual paedophiles group. No girls allowed, no women allowed. They're totally bazonkers. They make no sense. They are out of the science world, in the cockroach world that cannot evolve where everyone else is doing fine. The Nazis are very unevolved creatures and straight out of the animal world. Especially the crimes they're committing are completely insane without consciousness. So they're inhumane, right? And they're all over England. So this is why it's good to see documentaries documenting how Nazis have affected America and Britain in today's world, especially that we know that the Nazis are South American, also running psychiatry in Britain and America, right? And they're also bringing in the boat immigrants. It's also brought in by the Nazis. And guess what they want to do when they get here? All right, so England, as Churchill said, England is under attack and the new frontier war will be right here in England. That's what Churchill's last words were. Was he right? Of course he's right. I mean, psychiatry hates the Churchills because psychiatry is South American. Voodooism, homosexuality, the Mardi Gras. They've stolen the banks and the car companies and the electronic companies of Hitler and then blamed him for the Holocaust. The tricksters blamed Hitler, who likes the Jews. He wasn't talking about Jews when he mentioned Jews, he was talking in code. He meant Jumbo, you shot Jews. Jumbo, you shot. Jumbo is head of the military in Germany, Europe, England, and America. And he was being attacked by homosexual groups, killing 3 kids at a time. This is what they were doing in the 1920s. And that's why Hitler became famous and well known, because he supported Germany and their plight, and their middle and working classes was made very comfortable and excelled under Hitler, whereas everywhere else ever since it hasn't excelled in Germany. So they haven't boosted what Germany is good at, industrial middle and working classes. And now we've got AFD, which is a much better party. At last, Germany has a chance to revamp and recoup and recover Germany after such a hellhole of the Holocaust and the bad leaders that have led Germany ever since, that have not led Germany out of Nazism. Let's be honest. Let's look at COVID. Let's look at obesity. Let's look at the state of America. What have Nazis done over there? What about over in England? We're not even in Germany. Let's get to Germany and look at the middle and working classes there. Well, they're starving to death right now, if you didn't know. They cannot afford the inflation in Germany. So thank God for AFD and Alice, who's the new leader in Berlin. Right, she will oppose all of this. Certainly the Nazis hate her, and they've left Germany, and they're now Nazis, and there's Zelensky, and they're in Britain, and the mass immigrants taking our hotels and then filling them up with Nazis. That's the problem right now with Nazism within our borders, and that's why we need to document this. This needs to become mainstream politics. It certainly is mainstream politics, and it's good to see a documentary at last confronting the real issues at hand, especially for the middle and working classes in Britain that are deeply being buried by the Nazis right now. Over and out.